the Headless Headhunter, and I am doing a resume review of a business analyst intern. That should say intern. Sorry about that. Uh, from XYZ. So they were very specific in that they wanted somebody, they wanted the internship positions specifically at MBB, McKinsey, BCG, Bain. That is what MBB stands for. So that is probably more company specific than I might be able to help with. So, full disclosure, XYZ, you would probably best talk to somebody directly in those companies if those are the ones you're looking to go into. But I will do what I can based on what I found online. So, take this resume review with a grain of salt because I consider myself an expert in doing resumes. And part of that means admitting when you might be over your head. So, this might be one of those times. But what we basically found was you're going to have to get things done at companies. That's kind of the overall gist of what those keywords are. So if you use data to make a point with logics, facts, and reasoning, that you can explain complex topics to non-technical people, that you can work with other teams to solve problems, and you can talk with everybody from stakeholders to individual contributors. So essentially, you got to talk right and convince people to do things and move stuff at an organization. That was kind of the gist of it. So without further ado, let's see if those were the qualifications. And at least for that was the first one, which was Brain McKinsey. So, all right. So education, interview club among students, helping 10 students with job applications. Irony. Not really. It's always good to get an outside opinion. I don't know if that's going to be related though, because you don't really show how it was. Winner of the best thesis. So this is solid. Achieved the highest score in statistics. I don't know if you really need to say the most challenging course in the facility. That seems a little bit. Also, I'm not sure what a 4.5 GPA is, but let's see. So, business analyst developed backend for a customer ticketing system, which was later implemented for the whole CE region. Okay, that doesn't describe, I think, how you're doing it, right? Because the keywords that they're looking for is not that you made a project, but they want to know how you convince people, how you talk to that, because there is a huge difference between, hey, intern, develop a customer ticketing system, and hey, intern, what's wrong with our company? And then you describe that what you need is a back-end ticketing system. Excel models connected to SAP for reporting. This is solid, and I want more. Completing the product launch. Blah, blah, blah. Completed product launch project. That is a nightmare to say. Leading a team of 5, resulting in the launch of the proposed product, 2K revenue in the first month, and project becoming a model example for future students. I feel like we're almost there. Received exceptional feedback from the client executives for leadership and project results. Okay, so I'm just gonna skim over those. Those are solid. All right, so here's my problem with this XYZ, and I feel like honestly, you're almost there. So this takes up a huge amount of space in your resume, and it doesn't say a ton. Um, this is solid, but we want to like shrink it a little bit because there's too many bullets here. What is happening is you're trying to shrink these out, and I want more stuff. Because like this doesn't read like you implemented this project. So I want this to read like you implemented the project, if that's the case. But this one is solid. And to give you an example of how I want this to be written, because I think that is a problem with the entirety of the resume, specifically because they are not necessarily just looking for results. They're looking for how you got those results. Just like in math class, when your teacher said, hey, show your results. This is what we want to do. Like show the step by step. So introduce Excel models connected to SAP for reporting and saving managers an hour, 8 hours a week is good, but we want to know why, right? So say after speaking with leadership and management, realized that I could introduce an Excel model that would save them time after so let me reframe this. So after speaking with leadership and realizing that they had an issue with their, what is it, models for reporting, uh, created a custom Excel model that was connected to SAP that saved the managers 8 hours a week. So the key part of that you're missing is it didn't say why you need to do that, right? Like this reads you could have been told. This reads you could have been told. But when you look at the actual qualifications for McKinsey, they're not just saying you solved a problem. They're saying you convinced them there was a problem and then you solved it. And we're missing the first part. Like we don't see how you explain the complex topics. We don't see how you worked with teams to solve those problems. We don't see how you talked with those managers. So that I think is the biggest issue is you're not showing the steps you got to it. The actual solving of it is good, I think. I just you need to do those other steps. So that is the key thing I am missing from this. And I'm not sure if I would move them forward or not because I'm not sure of the mind at specifically a McKenzie recruiter because you do have impressive stuff, but like we need more, right? Like why was this product launch needed? Why were you chosen to lead? How did you lead? Uh 2K in a first month doesn't sound that impressive. Maybe it is. I don't know, but it doesn't sound impressive. So instead, maybe leading to an increased amount of revenue. Uh, or alternatively, you could even skip that, which is the launch of the pros project was so successful that it became a model example for future students. So you're not showing how you got to the result, and I think that is the key problem with your resume. Um, also, like I feel like there might be some extra stuff here that you could take out. So, because like this is fine. Uh, like I don't know. This doesn't help, right? This doesn't help. You could take this off. This is too long. So essentially, I think you just need to pick your bullet points wisely and your products wisely, so that we could get those in because we're missing how you showed the work. But those are what I've got for you now, and that's all I've got for this resume. Feel free to send it again. Hopefully, this was accurate because again, I am not a McKenzie recruiter. But now we're gonna do an awkward transition into the next resume. All right. So our next resume is going to be for a software engineer intern. The keywords for that are going to be right here. And as per usual for most internships, it's going to be the exact same thing as all the other internships, which is a basic knowledge of the industry. In this case, it's going to be tech stack that you studied, the ability to work with others, and the ability to take in direction. Whatever. I'll fix that. To take direction and criticism, not take in direction. So yeah, it's that's basically for all of them. Masters and PhD internships are going to be a little bit different, or specific companies like the last one for the Bain and McKenzie. So, but for software engineers, it's basically this. So let's look at XXXXXXXXXX's resume. I'm pretty sure I missed an X in there. Let's see this. So they've got the graduation expected. That's fine. Um, I don't know if this is needed. Like, it's kind of assumed you're gonna have that. So I don't think that's needed. Let's see. Head Start AI Software Engineering Fellowship engineered 5 AI powered applications with a 98% accuracy rate using Next.js, TypeScript, OpenAI, Node.js. Okay, so this is more of a full stack. Collaborated with Amazon, Bloomberg, and Capital engineers to enhance skills in what? Uh, I know CI/CD, I know AI, and I know microservices, but collaborated to enhance skills is a weird sentence. And then optimize user experience by integrating diverse platforms, AWS, Firewall, Pinecone, showcasing the ability to rise to the moment and make magic with cutting edge technology. Please don't do that. I know a lot of career coaches, which I really hate, say you need to spice up your resume and make it shiny and but I hate those. And I feel like most actual recruiters do not like those either. Your resume is a government form. It is not a marketing tool. Your resume needs to be basic and get to the point, and you can showcase your skills, but please don't say things like make magic with cutting edge technology. It just sounds weird when you're reading it. Like you have to prove like there's a thing in writing where you have to essentially say show don't tell, and this is the same thing with resume writing is you need to show how you made the magic happen. You cannot just say make magic happen. It would just be like in a book or a movie where a character's like, oh no, I finally found my rival and I am angry. It just sounds weird, right? So I don't like those. And then say collaborated with. I also don't like collaborate because this is just a personal thing, but starting your sentence off with collaborate is a little off. You want to say worked with the engineering team or uh was a part of the engineering that, but like collaborated is it's so vague. I don't know. That just it might be a nitpick. With creative teams design and build a new website for improving, resolve 10 plus bugs, develop through components. Yeah, okay. So I you have your tech stack basically here and AWS. And while collab, this is probably a sentence that is good. It doesn't, it's telling me, it's not showing me, right? I don't want to see collaborated with Amazon Bluebird. I want to see like went to daily stand-up meetings with engineers from Amazon Bluebird and Capital One, where we went over my skills in CI/CD, AI microservices to make adjustments or something like that, or met with engineers where they reviewed my code and I would make updates to that code based on criticism before the next meeting. That shows that you worked with them. Collaborated is so vague. Uh, this one is fine because it gives you the tech stack. Because again, we don't need all of these in the same bullet. We just need to show that you can work with others and you have a basic knowledge of tech stack and you can take direction and criticism. So I would say maybe for this one that you can add AWS in that, but I think this is fine. So yeah, it's you're telling me that you worked with people. You have to show me how you do it. And then this collaborate with creative team design and build a new website for the annual T conference, improving user engagement of site access. So this one is actually fine. Even though I don't like the word collaborate, I think it's still sufficient because it shows that you worked with the other creative teams, you build a website, and that you. Well, you know what? No, the more I'm reading this, the more I'm not. I'm sorry. Like I need to know how you did that, right? It's early in the morning, and I'm like most recruiters are not going to spend this long on a resume. They're going to spend like 15 seconds. So when I dig into it, and this is the external recruiter and me talking, I can find the stuff, but that's not what's going to happen. Internal recruiters do not typically have that time. So at a 15-second glance, that ain't good. I need to say worked with a team of like 12 where we, you know, that actually is how you use collaborate. Worked with a team of 12 where we collaborated by you need the by doing weekly meetings, by conversing over Slack to build a new website for the X conference. And then the next one you can say the result of that was XYZ. So yeah, it's not bad, and it's very possible that you could get some interviews with this, but interviewing for internships is highly competitive. So I really want you to the best start. And that is the biggest issue is you're telling me that this happened. You need to show me how this happened. So that is my resume for this software engineer intern. And you're right. I didn't even get to the projects because it's possible that they're not even going to get that far. And if I even look here, it's all about the tech stack, which you honestly did successfully here. Like this is a solid sentence. This you know, that works. That gets you part of the stuff you need. If anything, you may be able to make it longer and then fit in some of the other stuff, but it's solid. So, yeah, that's my resume review for this. And now another transition, which I go resume. This is a resume of a Java developer because it says Java developer. And they're looking for software engineer or software developer. I know technically there are differences, but companies really use those interchangeably to the point where there's almost not anymore. So you're very unlikely to find somebody that uses the pure version of that. So the first thing that we're going to be looking for is the keywords and qualifications, which is going to be Java, obviously. Uh, Kotlin, maybe APIs, microservices, definitely. Um, then anything with cloud, AWS, GCP, Azure, anything with SQL, PostSQL, SQL, MySQL, so many SQLs. And then the last bullet point, you're not going to have all of those. It's usually going to be a separate thing. So maybe it's going to be Python, maybe it's going to be Scala, maybe it's going to be Jenkins, Maven, Angular, maybe it's going to be JavaScript, and they want more of a full stack position. Again, that's going to vary. So the fourth one is you don't need all of those; you just need like one of those. But Let's review the resume, which I immediately hate because it's two columns. Never do two columns. No, two columns are bad. One column good. No more. This is awkward. Because like you are wasting a lot of space just with this. These can be up here. Also, is it like resolution off? Yeah, it is. I don't know if that's my computer or not. So there we go. But the resolution was like slightly. Oh gosh, sorry about that. Off on my screen. So anyway, analytical, ambitious, informatics students. Okay, blah blah blah. Artificial intelligence. Okay, Java programming. Okay, no, you're this is completely wasted. This entire section is wasted. You need your contact information up here, along with your name. It should not be more than 3 lines max. It should be your name, then it should be your phone number, your email, and then either your LinkedIn or GitHub, depends or whatever, and then it should be the location you're at. And then if you are applying in the US and you are a US citizen or green card holder, you should put that there. Because you don't want somebody to do implicit bias against you because of a name, which can happen. I don't do that, but not there's a reason we have those laws. So, all right, so this is not useful at all. These don't say anything. Oh, and your education's down there. Okay. So sorry, I'm like it's fuzzy, and I don't know if that's my computer or not. Uh, the resolution of this, I'm trying to read it. If that is on your end, you need to fix that. But assisted in maintaining and updating Java-based application, focusing on enhancing functionality, resolving bugs. Okay, collaborated with everybody uses collaborated. With senior developers to analyze system requirements and design effective solutions, including running SQL queries. Okay, for data retrieval, blah 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 blah. Okay, blah blah blah. No, 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 no. I don't see anything that I'm looking for. And PHP. Okay, so none of this is not a good resume. I don't think they're going to move you forward. So don't see. I see. Actually, where is the Java? I see up here. Yeah, I don't. This is the only thing. These two are the only Java, but these are the words you want to put in your resume. Um, Again, the fourth bullet point, a bunch of different stuff, but I need to know the very first bullet point needs to be a summary of your experience at that company. So you could say worked in a tech stack of Java, blank, blank, MySQL, whatever, where we did X and Y and resolve bugs or whatever. Then everything else is how you did that. And that is where you put more of these in. Specifically for software engineers and people in tech and IT, your tech stack is going to be critically important. So I want those peppered throughout the resume. I need to see, used SQL, use Java to write up something in SQL. I don't know. I'm not a coder. I can barely write English, let alone code. So I don't see anything I need. And this is what I need. And I don't want to be unnecessarily harsh, but again, I'm being harsh because this is a crazy competitive and you're against a lot of other people. And honestly, considering how bad a lot of resumes are, you just do like some of this stuff, you stand a much better chance. So that's all I can really say on this one because the recruiter is going to give you 15 seconds. They're going to probably even miss Java because it's all the way here. Uh, and then this doesn't matter because it needs to be here. You cannot just have a bluff. So unfortunately, I don't think I would go forward with this as an interview because I know the manager would be upset with me. So that's all for this episode of resume reviews. That's the word. Anyway, yeah. Feel free to submit your resume again. I'd love to see it, and I'm wishing you the best. So.